almost every district and building that goes through Catapult, they find a new favorite that they dive deep into. They might invite that person to campus in a subsequent semester. They read their books, they use their platforms, because there's always one speaker or research that just resonates. Every district, every school is in a different place, right? But no matter where you are, there's always a next step you can take. And so part of what we provide is giving you access to the individuals and the research that will take you from wherever you're at to the right next step. Not an arbitrary next step, but the right next step for your building.
Hello and welcome to the Future is Clear Teach Like It's 2045 webcast series. Today's episode is a part of a special edition where we're spotlighting incredible organizations supporting our online conference. We're hoping that these conversations will give you a behind-the-scenes look at some different tools, services, partnerships that are helping educators and students thrive in a future-focused world. So let's dive into today's featured sponsor, and that is Kevin Fleming from Catapult. Appreciate you taking the time, Kevin. Welcome.
Thank you, Scott. Always a pleasure. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, why don't you give us exactly what I just talked about. What is Catapult? Talk a little bit about it. Let's hear it.
Yeah. No, thanks for the opportunity. I think the bottom line is we're professional development unlike any other professional development that exists. Normally, if we want to invest in our people, if we want to upskill our teams, if we want to inculcate, some new folks or have like new faculty orientation, new teacher onboarding, normally we'll either go to a conference, we'll bring in a speaker, we'll do a webinar series or a training. I mean, those are kind of the only arrows in our quiver. Over the years, what I found from being both in the classroom and as an administrator is that while those can be very helpful, and I love those, I love going to conferences, I like webinars, those are all good, but they don't change culture. And the thing that I struggled with so often and still do is that you might have a few champions, you might have a few people who get it, you'll have a few people who really want to dive into college, career, life readiness, world readiness, entrepreneurial skills, mindset shifts, but how? Like, how do you really get more people on board to understand? So we created Catapult to be the only hybrid professional development solution that is solely and narrowly focused on changing culture towards world readiness for every student, really with an emphasis on career connected learning. So our approach is both synchronous and asynchronous. It is virtual as well as some in-person components, and it's designed to be at scale. So you can get a whole building, a whole school, a whole district to go through a shared experience over time. What's important, I think, is to note is oftentimes our PD, Scott, it's one and done. It might be a one-day event, it might be a 3-day conference, and then it's over. Can I be honest? This is unscripted. So can I be honest?
Yeah,
for years, man, I'd go to conferences and I would take notes. I'm a good student. Like, I'd want to learn. I'd go to a session to want to, get some nuggets. I would take notes, and then I get back to my office. And I don't know about you, but I'd be drowning. I'd have emails to catch up on. My calendar would be packed. So I would take my note pages sometimes of notes and put it in a pile. And it might be months or years until I touched the paper. And when I would move offices, like when I left Norco College as a vice president, I had a stack of like miscellaneous conference notes and brochures and flyers I'd written on the back of that I never did anything with. And I probably shouldn't say that, but like I had all this like good intention that never turned into action. And I was never really effective in getting what I learned at a conference and then broadcasting it and sharing it and evangelizing it to everybody else. I think that's a well-intended myth that we would do that, or that we would send 5 other people to a conference, they would bring back the content. Like, it rarely happens well. Right. Yeah. So we wanted to find a way to fix that. So that's what Catapult is. What do you think would be most helpful? Should we talk to folks about like the culture changing aspect? Do you want to peek behind the curtain, Scott? Should I show people what it looks like? Yeah. What do you think's good?
Yeah. Why don't we start there? I really do agree with you 100%. As you were talking about that, I'm thinking back to my days also as an educator. Very enthused as you go and extremely enthused when you're there, but when you walk away, it's like, now what? But yeah, give us the behind the scenes. Let's see what it looks like.
Yeah. All right, cool. Then I'll share my screen. Our model is that we want to democratize access to high quality PD so everybody gets it, not just a few people that go to a conference. every teacher, every administrator, every classified staff member. I'm talking about the nutritional cafeteria team, the janitorial staff. So it's designed to be accessed by everybody. So here's an example. I'm actually signed in as Keith Johnson from Nakusa in your region. We gave him a hybrid this spring. We're working with him to do a
Yep.
sampling of a couple different master classes from a few different programs. So
Yep.
normally we have programs like here we have work-based learning, career readiness, and instructional excellence. Each program is bundled with a bunch of different master classes. We gave him a small sampling of a few of each. And there's a tutorial there first. And then every master class you can go into and this one he's completed, but this one there's individual lessons. So that the master class is a professional pre-recorded keynote. I mean, these are folks that are international or national keynote speakers.
Familiar with them.
They'd be expensive if a building were to bring them in individually, but we've taken the time to pre-record. You'll see here. Well, let's mute it real quick. It's professional production. It's warm. It's as if she's in your living room, having a conversation, or in your department having a conversation with a small team. So they can go in and watch the lessons anytime. We also have, oops, click the wrong button here. Let me go back into master classes. When you go in, we also have curriculum. We have what we call a playbook. So for every speaker, we've taken the time to ask them, okay, after they watch your master class, then what? Like, what's the action steps? How do we facilitate movement and dialogue and action locally? So for every playbook, we give you a little background on the speaker, a place to take notes. Then we have reflection and discussion questions.
Yeah.
So when people in Nakusa, they watch it, how this actually looks, Scott, is people will, put a speaker like Christy Valesky, who's in charge of work-based learning for the whole state of Iowa, put her master class up on the screen. They'll watch a little bit of it, pause it in between lessons, dialogue about it. If you're leading a PD, the playbook facilitates. Here's questions to ask. Here's some activities that are tailored from the speaker. We curate it with them. We sit down and say, okay, after someone watches it, how could they apply this? What are the practice activities? How could they take the concepts and now go a little bit deeper to look at it, right? And then if they even want to learn more about you and go more with you, what are some different resources and follow-up activities we can do? So we provide all of that for every single speaker that they go through. Plus we have live events.
No.
It's like coming up, like JP Michel, you're working with him. He's part of the conference as well. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he is. Yep. Know him well.
So he's part of this series. He'll be doing a live event. So in addition to watching the content asynchronous, we give everyone access to pick the brains of the speaker, to get on a live call with them, to say, hey, I heard you say this, but here's my situation. Here's our local politics. Here's what we're struggling with. What would you recommend in my scenario, right? So we have a series of live events coming up. And then we have an asynchronous community. Let's see, right now there's, at the time and day that you and I are are talking about this, there's 16 other people right now that are in there, that are all online. You can go in here, you can always see who they are. You could, see there's achievements and badges if they've done certain things. You can always send a message to them if you want to connect with them, or you can live into any of these communities and you can leave a comment. You can asynchronously connect with folks, like a social media vibe, if you want to respond or like people's comments and share resources and connect. So that's what it looks like behind the scenes, where we deliver. Well, I just call it's the best of every conference, but we deliver it to everyone in the building, so you could leverage it at a time and cadence that is right for your culture. And what we've found, and what Nakusa is finding, is by getting more people to access really just great thought leaders that are education disruptors, and they're data driven, and they're charismatic and articulate and data guided and student centered. And by getting a lot of people to engage and listen to them, that's how it starts to move the needle.
Yeah.
That's how it starts to shape. And this birthed, honestly, years ago. I'm at a conference and I'm hearing this great speaker, and I thought, man, I want my supervisor to hear this. I wish my whole team, was here at the conference to hear this, but they were back at the district. And so now we're bringing all that, the best content, and being able to deliver it locally. So it's, cheaper cost per head count with broader distribution of access, higher quality content. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's about changing culture and really moving the needle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a great product. You and I met a while back, and I found you through Catapult, and I'm a part of, as you know, obviously a part of the Nakusa team that's, kind of piloting this, which I really enjoyed also, because you a la carted that for us, right, as we went through. Talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, talk a little bit about the opportunities that you can provide for schools, very similar to the NACUSA, how we pulled it together, your willingness to, how can we, individualize this potentially for a school district or a group of schools? Do you mind talking about that?
Yeah, for sure. If people want to go to our website on catapultmasterclass.com, in fact, let me just show folks where they can go to learn a little bit about the offerings. Here on the top, we have a button for programs, and you can see
Yeah.
the prepackaged programs that we've bundled together. So one option is to take one of our existing programs, go through the bundle of speakers we've identified that really give a nice breadth
Yeah.
to that content. You can go down and learn about each one and what they talk about. And you can also look at our membership tab that is very transparent about, how much it costs, and you can do individual membership or a building wide, package.
Yeah.
And the idea here is, you could take one of these self bundles, or like you said, we can a la carte it. We can spread out the cadence. Some buildings want to go through this over the course of a semester. Some want to do it over the course of a year. I worked with one district out of state that wanted to go through a summer intensive, and so we scheduled the live Q&A sessions uniquely. We did a 2-week intensive. We really want it to be. Every culture is different, Scott, right? I mean, so
Yeah.
depending on your capacity, depending on your topic of interest, we really want to make it shape the duration and the intensity that people have the capacity to really dive into and digest. So like for Nakusa, we handpicked the master classes that worked well. We handpicked the cadence this spring that was going to work. And what are you hearing from them? What are people in Nakusa? What are they saying? Is they're kind of midway through the Catapult program this term?
Yeah, we just met yesterday and we had a great conversation related to I think the cultural end of it, shifting mindsets, the ability to, bring more of this awareness um, around the great speakers that you have, but then also the practicality of working through that information that they provide. A lot of conversation around the pre-recorded conversations, that they're more organic, they give you valuable information. They're not giving you a playbook to go do. There was a lot of high level conversation around the interest um, for every one of the speakers that we're experiencing. It's good stuff.
Thank you for that. I'm glad you said about like, we're not prescriptive about what tool, what platform, what LMS, what, career
Yeah,
exploration platform someone should use. We're pretty agnostic to a lot of the how. What we really want to focus on is the why and getting
yeah,
people invested
yeah,
in that paradigm shift.
yeah. Yeah, it's um we did a few other things. I think it was helpful that, we've been doing this work. We put it, we've been doing this work with Nakusa for about a year. So I think the timing is right. I think that that's really valuable in relationship because you come in to the whole school and try a new initiative. You know how that goes. This is a great product, great tool to help, bridge that gap as you move into, as I call it, bleeding it out to your whole staff. It gives you really some great things to talk about.
Well, thank you. And one of the things I love about what you and CISA 2 are doing is you recognize that this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah,
Like this takes time. Like if there's a district who says, "Hey, I really want to get,
yeah,
an initiative to take root and to change the way we're really contextualizing content for students and really getting them to be future ready." You can't do that in 3 months.
yeah,
Like it'd be great if you could, but I haven't no one's really figured out how to do that
right.
yet. And
No,
I
no, it's
love
not
your
practical.
approach, how this is a multi-year
Hmm.
investment of time, and it requires, like I had a colleague who described it one time as it's an IV drip over time,
Yeah,
not a bucket of water in one day.
yeah,
And I love that analogy because it's like, yeah, if you're in the hospital, you get an IV drip. It's just a little bit bite-sized dosage, but consistently over time. And we know that's what works. Like you can't just do something in a week and expect everybody to shift. It's
yeah,
got to be consistent and bite-sized consumable nuggets, but over a long period of time.
yeah. Yeah, we really enjoy it. Our goal, I think, is to expand it, obviously into the full school. Talk a little bit about the speakers or those that are a part of your master classes. I mean, if you take a peek at who you have, if you've got any background around career awareness, career readiness, career exploration, those types of things, You have quite the lineup. Talk, how did you get them? How have you grown? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Right now we have 40 speakers and growing,
Mm,
and we're adding between 4 to 6 every year of new master classes, so that
mhm.
our individuals who have annual memberships always get new content every term. It
Yeah,
started out by being folks that we saw that were, keynoting at national conferences, that were part of the CTE, Career Connected Learning, education transformation movement. And then, to be honest, I looked for folks. Okay, so I'm going to say this, but I say this humbly. Like, my first faculty assignment in this space was 1999. So I've been in this field for a minute. And so I
yeah,
started
you
looking
have.
for speakers that, frankly, was not the same old boring, tired content. I was looking for folks that I learned from, that were pushing the agenda, that had a unique spin or a unique way of helping people understand the why. And so, again, these are very articulate, persuasive, charismatic individuals that they didn't write a book for business and now they're trying to get into the education space. They are in our field, they've been
Yeah,
in the trenches with us, and they're just brilliant. And so if they could razzle and dazzle on the stage and really provide value to individuals by saying, "Hey, here's what works, here's what
yeah,
doesn't," and if they'd be good coaches, in these Q&A sessions, those are the types of folks I look for speakers. Now it's grown. I've asked some of my, over the years, Scott, I've asked my existing speakers, who else are we missing? Who else do you know that would be great? And
yeah.
they've introduced me. It's like that whole like 6 degrees of separation thing, right? So they've introduced me to other folks that I didn't know, but they know, that are brilliant and doing amazing work in this space.
Mhm.
It's led all the way up to getting Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs as one of our masterclass sessions, and folks that are at really at the bleeding edge of pushing the transformation of public education in America, ones that are pushing the culture change of just seat time
Yeah,
and knowledge regurgitation to skill mastery. And so these are folks that are they're brilliant. I've learned from every single one of them. I invite anyone listening to this to go to
yeah,
catapultmasterclass.com, click on the speakers tab, look at who they are. Again, our topics are everything from instructional excellence to embedding work-based learning to marketing and understanding student motivation, all the way to, I just
yeah.
recorded a new master class yesterday, in fact,
Oh,
on apprenticeships and registered apprenticeships and what that really can look like tactically and how to get started with that. So I mean, it's a tapestry of just a lot of great folks that have brilliant messages. And so here's the guarantee. And I don't give guarantees easily, but I guarantee if anyone in your region or in Wisconsin or in the nation, if you watch the master classes, you will absolutely think differently about our
yeah,
work and
I
about how to
agree.
approach it. There's really a difference between like a really good keynote speaker TED talk versus like a breakout session.
Yeah,
Catapult master classes are not tactile breakouts. They are that thought provoking, optimistically encouraging, but challenging message that will get you and me to think absolutely differently. The neurons in your brains will change about how you think about employer engagement or how you think about sustainable partnerships, how you think about career readiness. And that's what
yeah.
we look for in our speakers.
Yeah, I 100% agree because I've dabbled in it. I mean, I'm a part of it as I've gone through it with Nakusa. But yeah, I certainly appreciate it. I will say this too. Here is a hidden advantage, I think. I know you're really big into networking. I really have appreciated getting to know you even better. You've connected me with some people. But as an example, JP Michelle has been part of Nakusa. And JP's work around SparkPath and his challenge cards have entered into the conversation, and that stemmed from Catapult. And so these opportunities around resources, products, things that really propel your school system to be able to be more advanced, it's a part of that. It's like built right in. Sandra Adams is another one, right? Her book and some of that, another great connection in relationship to this. So
Almost every district and building that goes through Catapult, they find a new favorite
yeah,
that they dive deep into. They might invite
yeah,
that person to campus in a subsequent semester. They read their books, they use their platforms, because there's always one speaker or research that just resonates. I
yeah,
mean, every district, every school is in a different place, right? But no matter where you are, there's always a next step you can take. And so part of what we provide is giving you access to the individuals and the research that will take you from wherever you're at to the right next step, not an arbitrary next step, but the right next step for your building. And
Yeah.
so that's cool to hear. Yeah, folks like JP and Cheryl and Brandon
Yeah.
and Christy and Holly and Brian and Hans and all these folks. There's just they're good people. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
frank. These are they're good human beings. They care about our work. They're willing to engage and share generously, and they're brilliant. And so I only want to work with great people.
Yeah.
so
I
so
hear you.
I have a no jerk clause
Yeah,
as
good for
well.
you. Smart. And I will emphasize again, I've really appreciated working with you because I can reach out to you and say, hey, can you connect me with JP? Because I want to know more, and you'll do it right away. And
We
right, you're not holding somebody hostage with your great work. You're allowing this to really expand because of the benefit to help school districts, but to help kids. And that's really what it's all about.
Thank you for saying that. And I agree. Like, I'm an educator, and I think
Yeah,
this is a team sport. Like, it doesn't
yeah,
matter what state someone's in. Like, we're not in competition with each other. So, yeah, the more networks we can open, the more resources we can share. I love seeing in the Catapult community when people share links and documents and URLs, and because there's
yeah,
something that another building might have developed that's perfect for where you're at. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. So
yeah,
part of our community is designed to do exactly that, Scott. It's to
yeah,
network, it's to share
yeah,
resources, it's to connect like-minded people together because we're all, what's the old expression? Like when the water line rises, all boats rise or something like
yeah,
that. Like
right.
the goal is how can we lift each other up? Iron sharpens iron. How can we help everyone that's involved to really grow and learn? And so thanks for mentioning that. Like that's a big ethos of my work and what I really believe in.
Yeah. Well, I've really appreciated working with you. Are you, obviously, I know this is gonna be a yes. You're open to doing more pilots. Are you okay with that? Maybe in our
Oh,
state here in
yeah,
Wisconsin, if they want to reach out to me and maybe coordinate something like that, because that's what we did with
100%.
Nakusa, and we'd love to see the footprint grow because it is just a great, great resource, for this work. So that's something that we could expand and do more of.
We've enjoyed working with CISA 2 and with Nakusa High School. And if there's any other building or region in the state or the state proper that wants to dip your toe in the water and do a pilot and try it out, absolutely. I mean, the thing that we know about our field is we're all optimistic, but we're also a little skeptical. So it's always good to get a small group to like try it first, work through it, understand it, and then dive in the deep end, and then bring it to others. So yeah, if there's anyone listening that's interested in doing a small pilot, getting some folks from your building to go through a semester-long masterclass to try out what
Yeah,
effective hybrid professional development actually looks like. If you're, here's the invitation, Scott. I'd say if anyone listening, if you're progressive, if you're dissatisfied with the status quo, if you want to disrupt education appropriately and respectfully in a very
yeah,
student-centered way, then I'd invite you to check us out, and we'd love to partner with you and help
yeah.
elevate the mindsets of you and your colleagues.
Appreciate it. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Kevin. And if people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Two easy ways. The website, as I mentioned, is catapultmasterclass.com. If you want to connect with me personally, LinkedIn is a great place, or my website is kevinjfleming.com.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Kevin. Really appreciate you taking the time again. And if anybody needs to get in touch with me, reach out, CISA2, scott.carr@cisa2.org. We really want to help and be supportive. Let's spread this throughout the state. Take
Appreciate
care.
it, Scott. Have a good day. Thanks, everybody.